I know there are things that you are not in favor of, this ballot harvesting, this mail-in ballots.
It's all terrible. It shouldn't be allowed. It's a whole different mindset.
But it is.
Anytime you have a mail-in ballot, there's going to be massive fraud.
Donald Trump is already trying to undermine the results of the upcoming presidential election. He is laying the groundwork to potentially challenge the outcome, and Democrats are preparing to fight back. Former Obama campaign manager Jim Messina will chair the newly launched Democracy Defenders PAC, which will raise money for messaging and legal action against Republican election challenges. The group has already attracted some well-known talent like attorney Norm Eisen, Biden-Harris campaign staffer T.J. Ducklo, and Allegra Lawrence Hardy, a close ally of former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams. In a statement, Messina said, "We are not messing around with this. Too much is on the line, and we have seen what Trump is capable of when he loses an election fair and square." Joining me now, Jim Messina, former Obama campaign manager and chair of the Democracy Defenders PAC. Jim, it's great to have you on the show again. So let's talk about hypotheticals here. What sort of challenges do you expect Trump to bring after Election Day? And do you expect him at least to try and affect the races up and down the ballot as well?
Oh, Eamon, yeah, absolutely. It's not even to Election Day. He's already starting. To your point, he's out there undermining democracy, talking about how normal ways like mail-in voting are wrong. His people are trying to pack the Georgia state efforts. They're already calling questions. They're already talking about lawsuits. Eamon, his campaign manager said at the Republican National Convention that it wouldn't be over on Election Day. It would only be over on Inauguration Day, which shows you what they're going to do. They're going to fight this thing tooth and nail. And, you know, I believe President Trump when he says he wants to be a dictator on day one. I believe him when he says he wants to stop some of these ways that people vote all across the country. And we just decided enough is enough. We're not going to take it anymore.
Jim, you said in a statement that we're going to be stepping up and providing resources directly to state parties and allies on the ground to make sure every American can cast their vote with confidence and without interference. Tell me more about how you will be directly helping local officials fight these challenges. I mean, we started this program tonight talking about what is taking place in Georgia and the chaos that election board members there are trying to sow already. But how do you challenge that when you see this taking place on such a local grassroots level?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're going to put $10 million immediately into the field and grants to state parties and allied organizations that, to your point, are actually on the ground fighting these every day. We're going to help with messaging to talk about why these things are bad, make sure everyone's talking out the same hymn sheet here. And then third, we're going to make sure that everyone understands the resources that are out there, how they can fight some of this stuff, how we can go to court and get emergency stays, how we can really deal with some of these things. We need to be really fast. And the way you be fast is move money to organizations on the ground. And so that's what we're going to do.
Are you prepared for the Democracy Defenders PAC to be actively involved in legal battles up into and potentially not just Election Day, but as you mentioned, all the way up to Inauguration Day? I mean, we all remember, we're old enough to remember what happened 4 years ago on January the 6th. There's no reason to believe that if they lose this time, it will not be a repeat, even perhaps on a larger and worse scale, even on state levels.
Oh, you're exactly right. Part of what Democracy Defenders, and by the way, I love the name of this new thing. It makes me feel like I'm going to be a superhero, Eamon.
Like the Avengers.
Right, Avengers, exactly. We're going to do three things. We're going to do $10 million to local and state organizations. We are going to absolutely be the tip of the spear on lawsuits all the way up into Inauguration Day for anyone who's trying to push back and sow discord on the democracy. And then three, after Inaugural Day, we're going to continue to talk about why it's so important to do these things, why it's so important to have free and fair elections. You know, you and I kind of grew up in a world where we thought that was pretty much assumed. Apparently, we're not in that world anymore. And so we got to continue to talk to people about why things like mail-in balloting, early voting are so important to preserve our democracy.
Let's talk about how you get people involved right now. I mean, obviously, you have an initial budget of $10 million. How much are you hoping to raise to really be able to fight back against these election challenges? I mean, I think last time we were talking about maybe 60 different cases across the country. This time it may be even more if Donald Trump loses. How are you trying to get ordinary folks involved in this effort?
Yeah, it's going to take all of us, right? It's going to take an absolute village, as Hillary Clinton said, to fight this stuff. And it's not just money. It's also education, the work you're doing, talking about these things, covering things like what's happening in Georgia. You know, not a lot of people are covering this stuff. And so we're going to be out there talking about these things as well and highlighting stories from the ground up. I think part of this is just building a grassroots movement of people who understand what's happening and can talk about it and push back on it. So money's great, but really it has to be at the grassroots. And so we're going to work really closely with state parties and state organizations to make sure we can do that, Eamon.
All right, Jim Messina, I'm going to congratulate you on assembling the Avengers and fighting to defend our democracy. We definitely need it going into the election. Jim Messina, greatly appreciate your time and insights this evening. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.